You know, one thing I always wondered if in the live it automatically lets you in, or do you still have to get permission to get in? I'm curious about that. I'm trying to see now that we're in live mode, if that's something that's still required permission. Oh, that answers that question. Yes, it needs permission. Right, great. Well, hello, Tanya. You're still muted, right, Tanya? There you go. Christine is controlling this thing, so only 3 people are allowed to talk. 4 people outside of Christine are allowed to talk. Let's see here. Got people here, so we'll go ahead and get started in just a minute as we see people trickle in here. So let's just give everybody another minute or so. Good. We are glad that it's Friday, right? I'm sure we are all ready for a weekend. Evan, I didn't notice your background. That background, I should have done something like that with Atos, you know, with the Atos logo, Microsoft and SAP, you know. Very creative. Next time, you give me a good idea. I'm sure Christine is taking notes about that too. Right. Good. All right. So in the interest of time, I'd like to go ahead and get started as people join, trickle in. You know, they can, since it's a live event, they have their own controls, and we'll be sure to go ahead and send this recording out and share it with everybody so they have this opportunity to review it again. So, Christine, does that, are we ready to kick things off?
Yes, we are.
All right, fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. We are very excited to have you all join us here today. We've got our colleagues from SAP and Microsoft and Atos. We are very excited about this this webinar that we're doing about our Rise and Grind webinar about our SAP Rise journey to Microsoft Azure. We have Frederick, who was spearheading that effort for Atos. Then we've got Evren, who's from Microsoft, and then we've got Mo from our SAP team. So let's see, move forward. I'm waiting for the slide to move. Remember, there's a delay, but I know it's this long. Oh, there we are. Okay, great. So my name is Nitin Ishpanani. I lead the Microsoft Sales and Alliance for Azure for Atos. I'm very excited to welcome everybody here. You know, as I was stating, that we've got Frederick, who's for the Atos SAP team. He is the one who was spearheading the efforts for us to get our SAP instance to SAP Rise into Azure. And then we've got Mo O'Brien from our SAP team. From SAP itself. And then we've got Evren, who is part of the Microsoft business from the Microsoft team that's supporting our Atos on the SAP journey for our clients. So to kick things off, never good when you get a antivirus pop up in the middle of the presentation. Let's see here, why isn't this moving? Let's see if this is working. There we go. Okay, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to start things off by giving an overview about Atos. Many of you may be familiar with Atos, but I wanted to take a couple of minutes to give an overview about Atos and our capabilities and who we are. Atos as an organization, we are a pioneer in secure and digital decarbonization solutions. You know, we are 100% as an organization, we are 100% carbon neutral, and we are committed to becoming net zero by 2025. With such commitment around sustainability, with a strong commitment around sustainability, and also providing high compute devices to our hyperscalers. So that's the core of our business. Our big bets that we have aligned that Atos has identified is with hybrid cloud edge solutions for our clients. Everything from driving industry-leading innovation and such as video and visual analytics, and also IoT and machine learning, and then also bundling it up with our security offerings and sustainability and decarbonization solutions. Going into the next slide here. Let's see here. All right. As far as our Microsoft partnership is concerned, our Microsoft partnership is over 20 years strong. We are a global strategic partner with Microsoft, and we're an Azure MSP, Gold MSP expert since 2019. Our priority focus areas that we have identified are industry-driven solutions that are supported by our global teams and decades of industry experience that we have at Atos across the solutions. Atos has achieved over 16 gold competencies and 2 silver competencies, in addition to 6 advanced step specializations, and we continue to invest in our Microsoft partnership and skilling of our team members. As part of our SAP credentials and our SAP partnership, our SAP partnership is continued to be invested for over 35 years. We have been an SAP partner for over 35 years, and as of right now, we are a SAP Platinum partner. Some of our key accomplishments with the SAP team include one of the largest instances of SAP Hana that have been deployed and delivered to date. That are supported. In addition to that, we've got 6,600 SAP instances supporting over 3.5 million business users, all supported by over 13,000 SAP professionals that are in-house at Atos. One of the things that I'm very excited to share during this call today is I was notified yesterday that our SAP Rise story, and I'm sure Frederick will talk about this too. So sorry, Frederick, if I'm stealing your thunder here, but our SAP Rise story has been identified as the finalist for the SAP Innovation Award for 2022. So we're very excited about that, and we're looking forward to winning that award for SAP. No pressure, Frederick. So. So with that, what I would like to do is I would like to take this opportunity to invite Frederick and have him talk about our SAP Rise story and how we are able to go ahead and become the finalist for the SAP Innovation Awards.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you. So I hope everybody can hear me.
Yep.
So I just have the control on the slide. Okay, just a few words. So I'm the group CIO of Atos, right? I'm only delivering the service to the internal teams and all our consulting guys that are delivering to the end customer. Our team. I put a few slides to show you what Atos IT is and all the various dimensions. In terms of infrastructure, we rely a lot on Microsoft 365. We are a big house using a lot of Microsoft with nearly 130,000 users, counting our employee and as well as our contractors, all using this Office 365 set of products. In terms of SAP, you will see it's our global instance that we are using for all our different businesses across the globe. All of them are within one single instance, and on which we have 400 company codes that represent the various legal entities of the group. And you have a few volumes as well here to just give an idea of what we do within Atos IT. We are 1,000 people as part of the group, and we manage 240 different services, delivering the various application and infrastructure to the employees. So looking at our architecture, I think I wanted first to show you what we are using today. So you can see we have our central instance at the center of the screen that we call the Nessie, and next to that we have what we call the MyAthos portal that is based on SAP Enterprise portal. On this single instance, we are managing all the financial, FICO. We are using also a project system to do all the project accounting and all the billing of the various contracts we have. We have some manufacturing in the same instance for our entity that is manufacturing the HPC equipments. And we also have all the HR components. So all that was in a very central system. And progressively, over a 3-year program, we have worked to deconcentrate this system and push some of the functionality to some SaaS product. To name a few, we have SAP SuccessFactors, we have for all the HR flows, we have Fieldglass for our contingent worker, all the subco to find resource to help us on some project, as well as Ariba for all the acquisition and EPO invoice process. Okay, so we had a central instance. On top of it, we are also using BW and Business Object that we call our Clarity BI system. So here you see all our estate, and in the center in yellow. So I put some color to show you what was the application and platform that has been pushed to SAP RISE. Moving on, so how did we go about this move to SAP RISE? We did this in a few steps. So the first one we did in 2020 and a bit in 2019. We worked first on a migration towards SAP HANA, S4 HANA. We were first on an ECC on-prem in a dual data center. And we did the first step to move to S4HANA. Then from this S4HANA system, at the end of 2020, we discussed with SAP that was at the time starting to think about moving to the platform and offer a new service called SAP RISE that would be a fully cloud managed solution for our platform. And with them, we work on a project to move our system from January to September. So a 9-month project where we move all what you have seen in the previous slide on SAP RISE. And we did that, moving that with SAP on a data center that is a data center of Azure in the west region of Europe in Frankfurt. And then now that we are live on SAP RISE since the beginning of this year, we are working on the next step, which is working on some innovation for our platform. So I will come on each of the steps here. On the first one on the migration towards S4HANA. So why did we move to S4HANA? Two main parameters. The first one that was the external factor. Mainly it's due to the fact that SAP announced the end of the business suites by 2027. At the time it went 25, now it has moved to 27. We were also seeing more and more of the new application, new solution of SAP being presented on the cloud, and we wanted to be able to benefit from all the innovation they were bringing. So we had to continue to have our platform really up to date, and moving it to S4 was a key step for us to have better integration with all these new modules. And the set of internal factors. A big one was the fact, as I said, that our system was very monolithic and we wanted to deconcentrate it. And this deconcentration was based as well on moving some of the functionality to the SaaS application. And for a better SaaS integration, we wanted the core to be on S4. As well, we had a need to be a bit more flexible, faster to answer to evolution. And having a smaller, more focused system was a way for us to be more flexible. And the last point as well, important, is also our move to cloud. We had the cloud first strategy, and as well to be able to showcase also for our customer to see what we could do even for a core system to upgrade it to S4 and be like that. So all that was moved on our on-prem solution in our own data center. And let me show you as well. We use a specific way to do this transformation. So, a bit of technicality how we transform an S4 system. You have multiple ways to do it. There is one approach called the greenfield, where you start from scratch and you do an S4 totally empty and you start recustomizing everything, and progressively you re-implement everything. The second way to do it is what we call the brownfield. So I don't know if the SAP colleague will tell me I'm using patented names, but the brownfield is you take your system on ECC, you do an upgrade, and once you have upgraded, you have an S4, but then you have a lot of cleanup and evolution to be done, and activate step by step a lot of components, which take a lot of time. Some of them you have to do it only on a fiscal year, the January 1st year, like the new GL and the new financial model. All that was seen on our side to take a bit too long time. So we took another approach that is called a blue field, that was quite successful for us. This bluefield approach, in fact, it's you take the system and you do an upgrade, but you do an upgrade on an empty system. So you have all your customizing, all the software and all the configuration of the various setup, but there is no data in the system. And then for the data, you do an extract on your old system and you reload the data in the new system that has been converted to S4. We did that with one of our partners called SAP, that helped us to massage and transform the data. One key point was financial document splitting, where in fact we were able to transform the data and reload the data in a format that was S4 compatible. So now all our reports are even historical data are based on S4. And the second advantage is that we were able to filter out very old data. So we only migrated 2 years of historical data and not the rest. And the rest, we kept a side system as an historical system. So we have a new system that is much smaller and is fully compatible on S4. And overall, in terms of timeline, that was a much compressed timeline for us. So that's why we took this approach. Voilà. So this one, we did that over 18 months period to do all the preparation, conversion, etc. from an ECC on-prem to an S4 on-prem, which was the first big step on our roadmap. Alors, moving on. So once we did that, so that was in August 2020. Then we looked at moving everything to the cloud, which was a question I was asking to a lot of hyperscalers, and we had long discussion with our Microsoft and Azure colleagues to see how we could do that easily. A big point why we did the transformation was to gain flexibility. We have seen as well during the COVID period that a lot of people wanted to be able to reduce their platform or to increase the size of their platform a bit more easily. Being on-prem, it was a bit difficult. The other point, it was also to be able to demonstrate, and I will explain, to demonstrate the usage of our technology of Sequana server that are bare metal server that allow some specific performance and size of the database. And I have that on the next slide. So important. So what the big gain for the surprise is that we end up with a one-stop shop offering. We have a similar offering on Atos on other contexts, but on this one, in fact, we have one supplier. It's SAP that is in front. That is the company that is selling us the full service, and then behind that, SAP source the service from Azure and from other partners to be able to operate the platform. Another important point, more financially, we move to a fully OPEX model. It's really a subscription like any SaaS model. There is no more CapEx, no more question of buying the license or buying the server. Being a self-hosting company, in fact, on my side, each time the server was not big enough to be able to cope with new acquisition, I had to go through CFO and procurement approval, which was not so flexible. So here we are really on a subscription process that is much easier now. 2 points. Even though we move to this SaaS model, we are also able, thanks to our architecture and the SAP RISE and Azure model, we are able to get an SLA. So by contract, Microsoft is SAP is committing to a 99.7% SLA, application availability, take into account 4 hours of downtime each month for maintenance, but everything else is 24/7. And the other point is the RPO, recovery point objective. In case of crash or something, we have by contract as well a commitment that we are not going to lose more than 30 minutes of transaction. In fact, technically, we think that we are much lower than that, but by contract, what we have with SAP is 30 minutes. I will talk about what it opens for in the next slide about new functionality we can get. And one last point, and just like Nitin said in the introduction, we have strong decarbonation target for Atos, where we want to be fully carbon neutral in 2028, and moving our platform to SAP RISE and SAP RISE on Azure. In fact, we are getting the benefit of the Azure neutralization of carbon, as well as we are working with SAP and Microsoft on building a dashboard for collecting the information of how much our platform is costing us. So how was the migration done? A few points. So at first we have a special contract, and being a large enterprise, we have what we call a single metric contract. That is specific related to one of the metric. For us, it's the revenue of the group. And we moved this contract to a contract with two dimensions. One that is called Cloud PCE, which is really the backend, the SAP RISE. So it's the S4 Hana hosting. And the second part of the contract is a HEC agreement for every other component. Like you have probably seen in the diagram, there was the portal, there was BW, there is solution manager. All that are as a sidecar of the Cloud PCE contract, and they are in a second contract called HEC. And then we kept a third small contract for the other small components. So everything will be done on Azure, and SAP is managing the whole relation with Microsoft. So all that. Atos, of course, we have a few components that we manage. I will show one slide on this. We choose, and it's also a demonstrator for us, we choose to use the bare metal on Atos Bull Sequana server. These are servers that have been certified. They are on the price list of Azure, and they are part of the certified with SAP platform. And this bare metal server assures us that the database is within a set of servers that are well identified. These servers are able to deliver sorry for that, to deliver 12 terabyte database on one single server, and we can also do scale out on multiple servers up to 120 terabyte of database. So it's quite important for the people that are really interested by very large database, extremely large database. And again, I mentioned the RPO, which is also sometimes very important for people doing real-time transaction. Voilà, a few prerequisites rapidly. We had to make sure that everything was on SAP supported database. So we had, for example, our solution manager was still on Oracle database. We did an OSDB migration as part of the migration to RISE. Now it's on Sybase, but it's all operated and managed by SAP. We had a few OSS nodes to implement to be able to migrate to SAP RISE, because SAP wants us to be at a certain level before we get to the next step. And then on the two last point, on the hub and spoke and the interconnection to SAP RISE, I have a specific slide that I will show you. So this is an overview of the architecture. So it's a bit ugly. So the way we interconnect between our Atos user from our own data center and the SAP RISE, which is in the green box on the right side, this is all operated. Everything that is in green is operated by SAP under Azure, okay, but fully operated by SAP. We had to build what we call the hub and spoke architecture. So we have a central hub that is within Azure, and it allows an interconnect from our data center and our internal network through express route. We have a set of equipment and configuration within Azure that mainly do load balancing, administration. We have also some firewall and some security components that are within this hub. We have a few spoke on which we have started to host our specific applications that are not related to SAP, but other workload. We have also some tooling that are doing security and more identity management solution. And then all that is interconnect to the workload of SAP RISE through VNet peering within the Azure environment to interconnect this, I would say, this Atos world with the SAP RISE world on the side. Okay, important to know, so all this was done directly by Atos with Microsoft to prepare the interconnect to SAP RISE. And this is the kind of thing as well that Atos can do as a supplier to external customers to help you get this step and progress on that. After, I have a summary slide to show you really side by side what it is when you are on-prem. And this is my nice slide to show you what it is when you are on-prem versus when you move to SAP RISE in the various layers. So if you go from the bottom, the infrastructure, when you are on-prem, you have your private hosting or private cloud, or maybe sometime you are in co-location data center. When you move to RISE, you go to one of the hyperscaler. In this case, it's Azure, but it can be another one. But for us, it's with Microsoft Azure. On top of it, all the layers are the layers on the product support, operation, what is called SAP Basis Tech, is really done by SAP. Then there is a certain number of optional service that you can do it yourself. So in our case, we decided that Atos will do it itself. Some of them you can subcontract to SAP. And then on top of it, you manage everything. The customer is managing its content, of course. All the software, again, maybe I did not insist enough, the move to SAP RISE, you keep all your customizing, you keep all your software, the specific development you have done in the past, you keep that. You end up with a new system that is available in SAP RISE on the cloud, but you continue to have the full access to the maintenance and the evolution of your platform. And then on top of it, all the license model on the hosting, it's all a subscription, it's a monthly base. In terms of migration, we did this in a 9-month program. Step by step, we did first test platform, and then we moved our development system. We did that in May last year. And then every month we transfer, after the development, we transfer the integration platform, then the pre-production, and then production platform in September. When we did all this switch from first development, all my tech guys, all the developer, all the basis guys, they were connected directly to this development machine that was production for them in RISE. And we changed all the transport route from this development machine that was on RISE to our on-prem system. And progressively, as we moved the pre-prod and production machine, we changed the transport mechanism to target the new SAP RISE platform on the web. Voilà. The cutover preparation, it's all done through a replication, so between our on-prem system and the SAP RISE environment. It runs during 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then during the cutover weekend, we stop the replication and the system on SAP RISE becomes production. And then it's kind of Friday evening, everybody disconnect, Monday morning, after testing, reconnect of all the interface, we were in production. At 10 o'clock, we had everybody live on the new system and everything was running properly. Voilà. So it went quite well. I even have some people that I crossed in the elevator in our headquarters and asking me what we did during the weekend. So I explained we switched SAP, and they mentioned that they did not even notice that something has changed. So it was quite a good success for me. Voilà, and I think that was my last slide. I hope I was not too fast. I tried to stay in the 15 minutes. And what we are working on now, and so the next step, voilà, so migration in 9 months. The next step now, we have a DRP testing that we still have to execute at a slow time during the semester. And now we are working on activating new things. So because we are a heavy user of Office 365, we want to plug, for example, some tool like Power BI directly on our database. It will be easier because, in fact, they are both in the same region on Azure, so interconnect and data flow are faster. And the next big step for us is, in fact, to continue to deconcentrate our central system and move some of the functionality to BTP. So progressively, we are going to remove customization in the platform and move them to BTP. But this is a multi-year progressive program. Voilà.
I think that was your last slide there, right, Frederick?
Exactly. I hope I was not too fast.
There you go. Perfect. No, thank you for that, Frederick. That was very, very informative for me. I know why you're our team is the finalist now, right? Because of all the work that you guys did over the last few months. So we are very excited to have that. So
exactly.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Expecting in the next 4 weeks maybe to become winner, but we don't know.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that announcement from you.
Good. Thank you.
Great. Now we bring in Mo from SAP. So Mo, this is your show. Go ahead.
I appreciate that, and I can absolutely understand why you guys are getting that innovation award. Well, I hope you get that innovation award actually after seeing that presentation. So, good morning, good afternoon, or potentially early evening. Mo O'Brien here from SAP, and I appreciate having the opportunity to have a cup of coffee with you and be part of this Atos Microsoft event. And I may be the first and only ever SAP person to actually only present one slide. So today I'm actually going to give you a brief overview as to where we're seeing our customers, our SAP customers, going with their S/4HANA deployments, and how we see our customers starting to change their behavior because of SAP's approach with RISE. And I think I'm going to be touching on a couple of the questions that were in the chat. And so if you need some additional clarifications, I'm going to keep this very high level. I can go as low as you want. We can talk about client 000 and if you need to, but I'd prefer to talk about that mindset today. So today, many of you are using an on-premise ERP, I assume, and that's why you're on this event. Now, unfortunately, if you're using our on-premise ERP solution, you're most likely dealing with a monolithic structure. Now, what do I mean about this monolith? Essentially, it means that for our customers to get industry-specific tailoring, your development teams need to go into the core ERP application and modify the actual code. So for all of you nerds out there, over the years, more and more modifications are being built up in your legacy on-premise applications. And now when it comes to those upgrades, most of the IT folks just get a little overwhelmed because it becomes extremely expensive, risky, and oftentimes resource intensive to facilitate those upgrades. Now, from an SAP perspective, we recognize that this is a headache for you, and I'll be honest, for SAP as well. So much to like what Atos was talking about, when we moved to a cloud model, okay, we learned from that left side, that monolith of the past, okay? And we have taken, let's look at the right side here, a more modular approach. And what we have done with this S4, with the RISE model deployment, is we've separated that application layer from the platform. And this is extremely important because instead of you going into the application code and making those modifications like we did on-prem, the code now stays standard, thereby allowing you, our customers, to continue to do upgrades. And basically what SAP is doing is it's providing you with updates to keep you current with technology. Okay. Now, there was a question in the chat, BTP, what is it? Well, if we look at that core, we're keeping our core clean, and we are introducing the Business Technology Platform, otherwise known as BTP, because SAP wouldn't be SAP without some sort of acronym. And what we're doing is we're providing a cloud-ready way for you to be able to modify and augment the core S4 application experience. Okay, so what is BTP doing for you? It's providing you a cloud model for extensibility, the ability to manage your APIs. It's giving you that shared domain model that our customers can use to customize and modify their business processes. And most importantly, what we're seeing now, especially with like these hybrid architectures, to be able to better integrate with third-party applications. Now, we used to preach to our customers, our on-premise customers, keep the core clean. And now with this new S4 RISE model, we're actually providing you with the tools to be able to do that and separate, okay? Now, as part of that stack on the right-hand side, you're starting to see more industry-specific experiences. Now, what SAP can do as you go on this RISE model is provide you with an SAP template in order to accelerate your consumption or accelerate your implementation. But also, folks like Atos and other SIs also have excellent industry templates in order for you to be able to get to S4 in a quick fashion. Now, that's really key because those templates as well we load them from an SAP perspective as part of RISE, but it's also built on BTP. So this way, as you go through and there are additional innovations or updates to templates, we can consume them in our model. Now, this is providing you that cloud approach to be able to enable industry-specific tailoring to help you to industrialize the secret sauce of your business. Okay, that's super important. So we're keeping the core clean. We're providing you with BTP to enable you to be able to do that secret sauce, that development. Now, you're probably wondering, how does our new model truly enable a cloud model? Okay, so S4 HANA is the core of our cloud model. Now, we're also working with our other line of business solutions in concert. So we've got the core, and we will also have cash management and elements like that, or if you need Concur, success factors, just like what Atos had in their model, the RISE model supports all of that. Now, when we think about that S4 cloud offering, SAP is presenting to the market two options. You can embrace what Atos did, which is the private cloud option, or you can embrace the public cloud. Now, we're allowing our customers to make that choice and determine what that journey needs to be. Now, I'm seeing a much stronger uptick in my customer base here in the East towards public cloud. And Where that's coming from is that speed to agility. We talked on those prior slides. I saw, there's that greenfield, the selective data transition component. Well, some of my customers have had to reinvent themselves completely, and they have opted to go to that set standard solution in public cloud in order to just get a real fresh start. Now, we're also seeing some of my core customers embrace a hybrid of cloud strategies in partnership with the Microsofts of the world and Azure, where I might have an S4 deployment for the core, meaning like US operations, finance, back office components, but for smaller legal entities in geographies that might not necessarily warrant that heavier footprint of S4, we're also seeing quite a few of our larger global customers spin up S4 public cloud instances working in concert with their private cloud. For smaller legal entities, maybe they're in New Zealand or just have a very small acquisition or footprint that they've done in Italy. Now, the connection between the S4 cloud, whether it's public or private, and our line of business solutions is at core probably our biggest differentiator. Now, when we connect our back office capabilities, such as finance or inventory management, with the front end business solutions, like I mentioned, maybe it's EWM or cash management, group reporting, advanced financial close, what our customers are able to see is the true value. And this is what this whole journey is about, going to cloud, is getting that quick return on investment and also great business value. And what we're doing in partnership with the Microsofts and the Atoses out there is giving you that holistic vision, that business process, end-to-end vision as to where you are with your organization. Now, if we double click on that, the combination of S/4HANA Cloud, our line of business solutions, such as SuccessFactors, Ariba, Concur, and BTP, along with like the SAP Marketplace and our industry cloud solutions, what we're doing is we're delivering to you now in this cloud-like mindset, business outcomes, okay? So what we're doing is we're freeing up the IT organization to start looking at what are the business requests that are coming in? How can these business groups be more agile? How can IT be more transparent and introduce additional innovation into the organization? Now, we understand from an SAP perspective that getting to this future state is a journey, and Atos just spoke to, you have multiple ways of going about it. And full disclosure, if I look at what my customer base I support, I've got, let's see, my last stats. I have probably about 48% of my customers that are going, actually it is, and so 48% of my customers are going brownfield. I have got 48% of my customers going greenfield, and I've got 4% of my customers using selective data transition, which was the bluefield approach that was mentioned earlier. Now, that first option, which is the brownfield option, I'm seeing a bulk of my customers going there. And those are those larger institutions, in full disclosure, where they've made a significant investment in their ERP systems. They've been with us, they've been wonderful customers for over 20 years. And what they're doing is very similar to the journey that Atos went on, is although they're doing brownfield, they're optimizing their brownfield implementation with the cloud. And so what many of my customers are doing is they are managing their mission critical operations within the RISE construct. And what they're doing is they're doing like a subset of my customers are starting to introduce innovation over time in like the chemicals industry, potentially life sciences, where they have to do massive rewrites potentially of their standard operating procedures, or they have to go for additional compliance and regulatory certifications. They're innovating over time. So much like what Atos did, and with that multi-step journey, a lot of my customers are going through that as well. Now, I also have a whole set of customers, and COVID has really exposed this, where my customers are just having a fresh start. And what I'm seeing with this subset of customers is they're going in this direction primarily because their business has changed in the last 20 years. During COVID, they may have moved from being a manufacturing organization to being more of a distribution organization, or they may have been taking advantage of changes in the marketplace during the last couple of years, and maybe that what they're doing is significant amount of acquisitions or divestitures. So with that said, we are still seeing quite a few of our customers move to that new SAP or a partner template. And in a good portion of those greenfield implementations, we are seeing our customers move to public cloud. Now, in closing, when I think about moving to cloud and really embracing what S/4HANA is like in the cloud, it really is about changing your mindset. And as you can see, Atos did that, and they did it phenomenally well. And it's all about simplifying your processes and unburdening yourself from those customizations that you have in your legacy environments, and then moving those customizations over time into BTP. So with that said, I know you guys probably have a lot of questions. I didn't want to go into the nuts and bolts of what RISE is. More than happy to support any of you out there in partnership with Atos and Microsoft if you'd like to take, if you'd like some additional information.
Thank you for those insights, Mo. We really appreciate it. And yes, please feel free to add any questions or comments you may have in the Q&A section. We're happy to answer them here or outside after this call, this webinar. So absolutely do that. Thanks again. Ebrin from Microsoft.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Atos team. So my name is Evren Baruch. I'm a senior SAP on Azure Cloud Solution Architect from Microsoft Partner Success Team organization, and I am certified on SAP on Azure, and I work with Atos on a daily basis. So we are bringing customers over to Microsoft, and then we have a lot of solution building activities as well. So on this call, I have Tanya Siwikala, who is the partner development manager. So Tanya, why don't you go and introduce yourself before I actually just go down to the why Azure for SAP workloads, please.
Erin, I think she had to drop. She pinged me that she had to drop.
Oh, so, she pinged me. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know that. So again, Thank you so much, Nitin and team, for this opportunity. And so basically, in a limited time, I'm going to be able to actually just tell the audience today about why Azure for SAP workloads is. This slide actually just states that very clearly. So Microsoft has more than 25 years of partnership with SAP today. So SAP themselves, they're running their 17 internal systems on Microsoft Azure. This includes also SAP S4 Hana systems running on Azure today. And then there's a partnership. This actually just bullet point shows that like SAP trusts Microsoft, and Microsoft is also running their own SAP systems on Microsoft Azure. So there's this mutual trust between SAP and Microsoft. So we have been actually the preferred cloud partnership with previously the Embrace offering, and now it is the RISE, and now this partnership continues and gaining momentum every day. But on top of that, Microsoft continues to provide the infrastructure as a service solutions for the customers, and also leveraging partners like Atos Technology and Atos and other GSI partners. And then we have been providing our customers with many services around SAP on Azure. So today, from the value proposition perspective, I'm actually just going to be showing you a different slide than this, but I would like to run this and show you that we have now 160 GB to 12 terabyte SAP HANA certified virtual machines. These are all available worldwide. We also have the HANA large instances for larger implementations, which are going to require systems more than 12 terabytes. So now we have the largest SAP HANA workloads with purpose-built bare metal up to 24 terabyte for scale-up systems today with Intel Optane persistent memory instances up to 9 terabyte. I'm willing to actually just share these details about this hardware configurations and what Optane is and how we can actually just scale a customer up to 60 terabyte RAM with TDI and up to 120 terabyte with TDI version 5. And I can also just provide some more analysis and some comparisons between these versions, what exactly these are, to the audience at a later time if they reach out to us, and I can definitely just provide more insights. So from enterprise proven and more secure bullet point perspective, Microsoft is now having the largest compliance portfolio. This is 90 plus compliance offerings, including tools for GDPR. So best-in-class security. This is I'm just not going to cover this much because I have a slide for that, and then I'm going to be actually just like showcasing some of the security models and zero trust security that we built for SAP and Azure for customers who are not going to compromise security. So we have the solutions for them. So best platform for digital transformation. So our customers are taking advantage of Azure services like IoT, microservices, Azure Data Lake, Azure ML, Power BI for business insights. So just for the audience, myself and Atos, we built industry proven technology with Synapse Analytics. So basically, Nitin and team, they really just did an amazing job working with me and my team to put this Synapse Analytics solution for customers who would like to leverage Synapse Analytics for SAP and also combining the BW and the BW-based analytic functionalities into Azure Data Lake for the ingestion and also the machine learning to produce smart analytics and reporting into Power BI, Excel, and other third-party solutions. So this partnership has been actually just growing so fast. So I just wanted to just share this information with you because Microsoft and Atos have been doing this for a while, and now we have industry-proven solutions that we have been working together to bring customers over to Azure and then also help them focus on their core priorities and business than dealing with the technical complexities. So we help these customers. And so this slide actually is showcasing some of our customers. I'm not going to name these, so you guys can just see this customers portfolio. More than 95% of Fortune 500 customers use Microsoft Azure today. So we are actually just adding more logos. So we actually even have an updated slide that we are waiting for some compliance reviews on that before we publicly just publish it. So that's why this slide is not showing the entire portfolio. We have hundreds of customers running thousands of systems on Azure. So we have this portfolio growing. So this slide actually is pretty much the subtitle, let's say, that the previous slide that I showed about the compute. So Microsoft has this amazing certification achieved for the SAP HANA system. So we have now 128 SAP HANA certified offerings from 160 GB. This is the minimum all the way to 24 terabyte with scale out.
Seems we lost everyone.
When did we lose you?
Seems we did.
Yeah, I think last time. Let's give him another second here. I think he may be rejoining. Let's see.
I'm not sure I would notice.
The top of my head, for example, E20 DSV4, which is 20 vCPUs providing 192 GB RAM, which is to be for the customers who are actually just going to be looking at a sandbox environment, and then they would like to actually just test it out and then use it, for example, identity access to understand how the IAM is going to be working on Azure. So this is going to give this granularity to the customer, and they also would like to have some of the SKU changes. For example, if a customer does not want to use, premium M series, for example, which is our advanced virtual machine series. If a customer doesn't want to use it, they would like to go a little bit like 64 VCP, for example. They can go to E64 DSV4 and then provide even less than, just a little bit less than half a terabyte, which is 504 GB capacity. So we certified MV1s. As I said, this is the premium stuff. Now we have MV2s. This is specific for SAP HANA for high CPU utilization is actually just provided because we are using this Skylake based processors. So from the OLTP, in other words, let's say ECC on HANA, 1.5 terabyte per socket TDI v4. So from the OLAP perspective, you can go like 670, or you can do like 768 GB per socket with the TDI version 5. So we also have the 3 terabyte option now for the scale out, for S4 scale out on MV2. It is actually just supported today with 4 nodes of 6 terabytes. You can go like 3 terabyte minimum. You can go 6 terabyte, 12 terabyte, and you can do M plus M with ANF. And then you can also do OLAP scale out on MV2, which is supporting real terabyte, and also just do M plus M with ANF technology with the Azure native files. I'm not going to be covering every one of them. I'm just trying to show you what exactly that we have from the scalability perspective. So if a customer needs 160 GB, we can do that. If a customer needs to go 12 terabyte with the VMs, we can do that. If they want to go 24 terabyte, we can do that. So basically, this slide actually just spoke about what the customers want to hear from the compute and scalability perspective. But our core value proposition is not that. Our core value proposition is what you guys are actually just seeing in the slide. Because per my communication with customers and partners every day, there is not even one customer that does not want to discuss about security. If somebody says, hey, security is not important, not listen. 99.9% of customers today speak about how important security is. If they're going to move from on-premises to Azure or any platform, they want to make sure the system is now going to be running behind somebody else's firewall, and then they have to just make sure that this is going to be secure. So at Microsoft, we built our security solutions upon a key set of principles. We're not going to compromise, because we know that moving from assumption to explicit verification is one of the cores of Azure. And then we know that adopting a policy-based access control with least privilege access model is, again, the core of the zero trust security. And more importantly, the core of the DMZ cloud approach of Microsoft, which is the demilitarized zones concept of Microsoft, not from the hub and spoke topology perspective, to make sure that we are providing a customer with the secure platform. We have to use the DMZ, which is going to be demilitarized zone concept, which you can build on 2-layer or 3-layer, and then we can use different technologies to actually just achieve that. So these are the key principles of zero trust security that you see on the screen. So we are making sure that zero trust model is going to provide any customer that wants to run their SAP on Azure with a modern security framework, so that they can manage the complexity of their organization without worrying about who's going to support where, and then how Microsoft or Atos is going to do what. So we have all this solution actually just identified and then listed, and then Atos and Microsoft have been working collaboratively to actually just make sure that customers' security requirements are met. So we first understand the customers' requirements on the identities, because it's very important that identities, whether they represent people, services, even IoT devices that you're actually just using in between the source and the target system, and then you leverage some of those key hub kind of like, dissemination of the data. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna make sure that the customer's identity requirements are going to be met, because when an identity attempts to access a resource, Microsoft knows every single requirements of a customer from the accessibility perspective. So when an identity attempts to access a resource, Microsoft provides all those best practices to verify that identity with strong authentication, ensure access is compliant and typical for that identity. So we provide a lot of feedback and granularity on that. So basically, we don't necessarily just push a few, links and then say, hey, okay, Mr. Customer, go ahead and just deploy, and then this is going to be secure. We make sure that we are keeping the customer's environment secure. If a customer needs even more granular security, let's say that they want to do some kind of interesting intra VNet, traffic inspection, but they do not want to use certain Microsoft technologies. They want to bring third-party technologies such as the third-party MVA, F5 or Palo Alto, or you name it. So Microsoft actually has certified the third-party MVA solutions, and then we are bringing those MVAs into the Azure Fabric. So we provide that kind of intra VNet or subnet traffic inspection on layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. We can do all the way to layer 7 using application gateway, for example, to make sure that HTTPS traffic is also secure. From the devices perspective, when I was talking about the identity, device is important because once an identity has been granted access to a resource, it's important that we also make sure. So I'm just wrapping up, Nitin, because I know that we are running out of time. So basically, from the identities, devices, data, applications perspective, Microsoft has a solution for customers worldwide to help them address their security and networking requirements in a scalable platform, which is Microsoft Azure. So this is it from my side.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that. I know there was a lot of information, and we went a little bit over, but thank you. I'm sure everybody on this call truly appreciated the information that was provided today. As a next step, we would like to offer an opportunity for anybody that's on this call, and the clients and the Microsoft team as well, an opportunity to leverage our Think Starter workshop that's available on the Microsoft Azure Marketplace to talk about how we collectively, in partnership with Microsoft and SAP and Atos, can provide and build a similar journey for your organization or your client's organization. So, with that said, I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to join us today, and thank our presenters, Frederick from Atos, Mo from SAP, and Evren from Microsoft. I hope everybody on this call today received a glimpse of our true partnership with Microsoft, SAP, and Atos, and our global capabilities, and and how we can deliver based on our capabilities and commitment value to our clients. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we'll be sure to share the link to this recording and this presentation. And we look forward to working with collectively with SAP and Microsoft to deliver some solutions for your organization and your clients. Thank you. Thank you again for joining. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.